Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Dr. Ghost and today we'll be taking a look at the Tier 5 Japanese light cruiser, the Gokase. So this one you guys can get right now in early access. It is through the containers, I believe, the early access containers that you guys can get for free from doing some missions and stuff like that. Wargaming's giving out a bunch of them, so there's different methods of getting them, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I got the Tier 5, I got the Tier 6, and I got the Tier 7. So today we're doing a review of the Tier 5, and then the next video will probably be a review of the Tier 6, and then the Tier 7. So I don't have the Tier 4. Funny enough, I literally got the Tier 7 right off the bat, and then I got the Tier 6. So yeah, and then I got the Tier 5, which is pretty funny. So anyway, with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the upgrades in Loadout. So we're running aiming systems, and we're running propulsion mod. This thing is fully upgraded as well. Moving on to the loadout, this ship does come with high explosive, armor piercing, and it does come with some torpedoes. We'll take a look at these specifically in the specs tab. For the consumables, this thing comes with standard damage control parties. We also have 3 sonars, 3.9 kilometer detection of torpedoes and ships, so that's cool. And also we have some catapult fighters as well, but the catapults, I mean, there's something, but yeah, they're just there. So the consumables are fine for a cruiser, nothing special really. We're running the Marine Day 21 flag because it looks like a Japanese flag. It looks nice on my Japanese ship, so I put that on. And we're running a standard type camouflage. Actually, I need to get this fully upgraded, but in the video it's going to be level 3. But yeah, it does look pretty good as well. Honestly, this is like the best looking one out of all of them. The Tier 6 camo and the Tier 7, they just look like, I don't know, they look like they just got spray painted black and brown. So yeah, I don't understand it. Like, I'll show you guys real quick what I'm talking about. Here's the MAONO. And this is literally the camo. It's just like a brownish black shadow camo. It looks like a shadow camo. Like if you were looking at this, you'd be like, "Oh, that's a shadow camo, right?" No, it's literally the camo that the ship comes with. And the Shimano, same thing. But I think it's like, what is it, grayish? It's more like, yeah, it's more grayish. I don't know, man. It's just, I mean, I don't mind it. I really don't mind the solid gray and black and whatnot. I really don't mind it at all. I mean, dark colors on ships always look good, so I don't care. Some people absolutely hate it, but I actually quite like it. So, I mean, it's not that interesting. It's nothing crazy, but I don't mind it, right? I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's just there. So, anyway, heading back over to the ship, though, that we're doing a review of today. The Gokase. So, where were we at? That's right, the loadout. So anyway, took a look at the camo. Now moving on to the specs. So this thing has 28,000 hit points. So, I mean, that's something for a Tier 5 light cruiser. I mean, nothing crazy there, really. And this ship comes with a 4% torpedo damage reduction, which is nothing. That's basically nothing. So if you take a torpedo, you're going to feel it, that's for sure. Moving on to the artillery. This ship does come with 8 152mm guns. So they are 6-inch guns. They shoot out to currently 16 kilometers on my build. And they have an 8.4 second reload, which is pretty bad. An 8-second reload is really bad for 6-inch guns. Like, that's pretty dog crap. I mean, it's not like horrible, but it gets worse. The higher the tier you go, the worse it gets. Like, once you get to a MAONO, it's 10, and then Shimano, it's 14. It's horrible, guys. The reload is just yikes. So that is something definitely to just bear in mind there. The 180-degree turn time on the turrets is 24 seconds, so nothing special there. The HE shell maximum damage currently on my build is 2,900 with a 13.9% chance of setting fires. And the AP shell maximum damage currently on my build is 2,900. So, yeah, this thing is not going to be putting out lots of damage. Like, that's basically this whole line. This whole line is just like, I don't understand it. I really don't get it. I've played pretty much all of them, and I've played them off and on in standard and whatnot. And I don't get the place for them. I mean, the torpedoes take way too long to reload, and Wargaming said that these are going to be torpedo-focused cruisers. So, you know, here's the torpedoes. The ship does come with 8 of them. You get 2 quadruple launchers. They are the 610 millimeter Japanese long lance torpedoes. 90-second reload, which again, a minute and 30. Not the greatest for reload. If these things had like a 60-second reload base, I could understand it, but they don't. So, but then again, I guess that would be a little overpowered, wouldn't it? But then again, it's still, you know, I just don't get it. The maximum damage for these torpedoes is 17,200, so it's pretty good. The detectability range for the torpedoes is average 1.6 kilometers. Now, the torpedo range is really good, 13 kilometers. And the torpedo speed is pretty average, around 60 knots. The AA defense, not good. It's pretty mediocre, so don't depend on it to save your life or anything, okay? The maneuverability is pretty good on my build currently. 39.4 knot maximum speed. I believe that is with a... Oh, no, that's not even with a flag. That's not even with a flag. Then again, we are running full speed ahead and stuff, so there you go. I believe, though, in the video I was running, or in the match I had, I was running Igniter. So my stats obviously change. So I go from, you know, 13.9% fire chance to a 16.9% fire chance. So, yeah, I was messing around with some builds. But anyway, 37 to 40 knots, somewhere between there, guys. 750 meter turning circle on a cruiser, I don't get it. It's pretty bad. And a 7.9 rudder, not the greatest in the world. So the speed's good, but the maneuverability is questionable. For the concealment, it's 69. There you go. Anyway, detectability range by sea is good, 10 kilometers. So one thing that's good about these cruisers is they're pretty stealthy, and they have decent torpedo capabilities. But then again, they're going to be reloading so long. Yeah, I just don't get it. I really don't. But maybe when I get the torpedo commander for the Japanese from the calendar, it might be better, right? Because once you complete the calendar, you get this guy. So, and he has like a bunch of torpedo capabilities. So maybe it changes there. But anyway, let's go back, take a look at the concealment. So yeah, the concealment's good, 10 kilometers. Detectability range by air, 6.3. Guaranteed is 2, and 5.1 while firing in smoke. So overall, the concealment's pretty solid. Okay. What isn't solid, though, is the armor. The armor's pretty bad. You do have... I mean, it's not as bad as some ships at Tier 5, like the... the Mysore. But, yeah, 16 millimeters of bow armor, so you're going to be able to ricochet maybe, I think, 6-inch guns with AP. Anything bigger than that, I think 8-inch guns can overmatch this. Real quick, let's pull up the calculator, and I will show you guys what we're dealing with here. So, 203 millimeters divided by 14.3 equals... Okay, so it cannot overmatch you. So you're going to be safe. You're going to be safe from 6-inch and 8-inch guns. But battleships, anything with, you know, bigger guns than 8-inch guns, 8-inch guns, you're gonna feel it. Okay, you are going to feel it. So that's something to keep in mind. Taking away everything. Here's the Citadel. The Citadel is pretty exposed, as you guys can see. So this thing will get Citadel if it gets hit in the right spots, which is basically anywhere. Citadel through the bow, Citadel through the stern, everywhere. So yeah, you got to be careful. That's definitely for sure. Moving on to the overview, it has a big yield, above average damage for torpedoes, I guess so. Sluggish shot, yeah, that's true. This thing shoots to the moon. Something I noticed is, yeah, it definitely does have a sluggish shot. These guns, they have super high shell arcs, just like the Americans. So, you know, there you go. This thing also apparently is compromising. Incoming high caliber AP are more likely to overpenetrate. Not in my experience. Not in my experience, they don't. So, I don't know, man. Anyway, Gokase, as per the Navy replenishment program, plans were made to build cruisers to lead the Shimakaze-class destroyer flotillas. The Agano class cruisers became the basis for a project that differed from its predecessor in the increased number of main battery turrets, as well as in the strengthened propulsion unit and AA defenses. After the Battle of Midway, the program was adjusted, and in June 1943, the construction order was canceled. The year of design was 1943. So the Aganos, I believe, did exist. The Agano class light cruisers, I believe, were a thing, and they were built. Yeah, bottom left, it says so. There was 4 of them. The Agano and the Yahagi we both have in game. The Yahagi being the Tier 4 premium version of the Agano. But overall, this is basically this is literally an Agano with 1 extra gun and slightly better stuff overall. So yeah, it's definitely not a horrible ship. I mean, you can have a good game in it. You can have a good game in any ship. It's interesting to say the least. I don't mind playing these Japanese light cruisers. They're kind of fun. But at the same time, they're not as fun in a lot of situations because they just don't put out a lot of DPM. They struggle quite a bit in my experience. But you can have a good game or two in them. I mean, I've had decent games in these, but they're not any better than, like, you know, Dallas's and you know, a lot of the other Tier 5 cruisers. I still think the Japanese heavy cruiser line is better. I'll stand by that. I still think the Megami, Miyoko, I think these guys are still gonna be better than these guys down here. It's my opinion, but these cruisers, man, aren't the best. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. I mean, they're cool. They've got some interesting stuff going on for them, but they're not really my cup of tea. Okay, but anyway, let's take a look at the commander we're running. So we're running ARP Haguro, I believe, or is it Azerlane? I don't remember. Oh yeah, it is ARP. Okay, so it's ARP Haguro. Doesn't really matter. It's anime. Who cares? We're running Dufournet. He gives me extra HE shell maximum damage. And we're running Gonichi Mikawa. This guy gives me extra concealment for my cruiser. So that's really nice to have. The base trait here for Haguro is she increases your fire chance and your main battery range. So this is nice to have. We're running Beyond Range. We're running Igniter. But right now, like, I'm running full speed ahead, but in the video, I think I was running Igniter. Hellfire, this is a unique perk just to Haguro. It increases her armor penetration of her HE shells, plus 6%, and it increases her HE shell maximum damage, plus 7%, so that's really nice to have as well. We're running Fixated, and we're running Refill Station. So, like, if you weren't running Refill Station, let's say if you took that off, your reload would be 9 seconds. I mean, most heavy cruisers can get down to 10 to 11 seconds if you build for it. So that really says something. Like, for example, what's another 6-inch gun cruiser? What's some other ones? So if we take a look, take away the Japanese, just put cruisers in general. So my Dallas, for example, 6.4 second reload. My Pensacola, 11 a second reload. My Leander, 6-inch gun cruiser, 6.9 second reload. My Nuremberg, 5.7 second reload. And these are all cruisers with the same caliber guns, believe it or not. Yeah, every cruiser at this tier can basically out-reload this thing, you know, by a few seconds almost. But Johnny, 7 seconds. Gorky's 180 millimeter guns, we won't count those. Duca d'Aosta, 7 seconds. Trento, no, Trento's a heavy cruiser. Ramat, 7 seconds, and those have 5-inch guns. The Mysore, Mysore has longer reload because Mysore's trash, we already know that, so of course it's going to have a longer reload. But yeah, anyway, even the Aoba has the same reload, 9 seconds, okay? Like 9-second reload on these 203 millimeter guns. That's only a second more than the Gokase. So, actually not even. If I take that off and put Refill Station on, and put that commander on, 9.8. Okay. Oh, I must be, oh, that's right. Isarako Yamamoto, I'm running Francesco Membelli. So, yeah, I can get my reload down to around the same as Gokase, if I really tried. It's ridiculous. I don't know why these guns have such a long reload. I get it, because, you know, for balancing factor, I guess. But then again, I mean, like, the torpedoes take forever to reload and whatnot. Why not just give this thing, like, a 7-second reload? Like, an 8-second base, so you can at least get it down to 7. That's just me. But anyways, nonetheless, I will bring you guys over to the gameplay portion of today's video. There will be bookmarks probably on this video because this video is going to be long since the review portion is pretty long. We're going on like 15 minutes, so bear with me. But nonetheless, keep in mind the gameplay is nothing special. Like I said, these ships aren't the best, so the gameplay is not going to be the best. I mean, I struggled to get great games in these cruisers, okay? So just keep that in mind. But I will talk about the ship more and whatnot, and we'll go over some other stuff too in the gameplay portion of today's video. So I hope you all do enjoy it. Alrighty, so here we are. We're going to be on Trap. It's domination mode, and we're going to be in the Gokase. And yeah, so this game, like I said before we even started this game here, it's not going to be the greatest game in the world, and that's mainly because, well, this isn't the greatest ship in the world. It's kind of hard to have a great game in a mediocre ship, you know what I mean? So, we're just going to do the best we can, and we're going to, of course, talk about this ship and what it's, what it's about. And I think the only thing it's about is just not a whole lot, okay? The guns are mediocre. And the torpedoes, like, they're good, obviously. They're Japanese torps, but let's be real. How many of those torpedoes are you going to be hitting every game, right? Probably not a lot, if I had to guess. So, but anyway, we're going to try our best. Like I said, we do have a decent fire chance and whatnot, so we're going to try to put out some decent bits of damage here and, see what we can go ahead and do. So we are on the left side of this map, and this is the smaller version of Trap, so not as much room to kite and maneuver and whatnot, so we have to keep our head on a swivel, that is for sure. But nonetheless, we're going to head off to the left. I'm going to hope that my destroyer spots so I can get some decent shots down range and set some fires and whatnot. So that would be really nice. And right off the bat, someone is spotted. There's a Hyuga at 17 kilometers, so we're going to take a shot. And look at those shells. Shoot to the moon. And down they go. So those shells will be there in about 10 years. We'll wait for that. In the meantime, we'll take a shot at 18 kilometers at a Koenig. Yeah, refill station is a funny thing. We can have 18-kilometer range if we're near somebody, which is hilarious. Now, the carrier's planes are coming towards us, so we have to really keep an eye out on that. I'm turning away just in case he's dropping on me. But I think he's dropping on our destroyer. And he's also going to spot my torpedoes as well. But our destroyer is going to eat one of those torpedoes on the back there and lose about half of his health. And yeah, really not a whole lot we can do about that. Now, we do have 8 main battery hits. We do have 1 fire. It looks like the person that got hit, though, put out that fire immediately. Now, we did just get a hit on that Nuremberg for 900 damage. There you go. That's our first bit of damage the whole game. 900 damage. Let's go. But seriously, though, we're doing our best. I mean, we have a smoke screen up here, so we're going to come up here and use it a little bit. That this destroyer did put down, and we're going to see if we can't get some fires on this Hyuga. He's at 16 kilometers, so we're taking some shots that way. All we need is a few of these shells to hit and set fires, man. I mean, that's our only hope. That's our only hope, is setting fires. See, that's the thing that this ship has over the Mysore. At least this ship comes with high explosives, so you can, set some fires. That's a nice thing. So, I mean, that's a bonus. It may not be the greatest high explosive in the world, but it's something. Am I right? But anyway, we have a California at 15 kilometers, and we did just set a fire. Just like real life, California in-game burns just like it burns in real life. That's a bad joke, but, it's a joke nonetheless. But, seriously, though, we got our fire. He DC'd it, so I'm going to see if I can't get a follow-up fire. We're up to about 9,000 damage. All I need is one of those shells to set a fire. That would be great. Please, game, can I get the follow-up fire? He might still be on a DC, but he'll be off DC any second, and maybe I can get a fire. Because, that's like my only hope is fires. But as you guys can see, I mean, we are doing decent bits of damage in the superstructure and whatnot. HE penetrations, and there we go. We got the follow-up fire. Let's go. We got the follow-up fire, so there we go. Now, one thing I want to bring your attention to is obviously the destroyer right in front of us. That's one thing, but also look at the team. Pay attention to the team and how people are going to start dying left, right, and center. We already lost a battleship, and we already lost our only destroyer in the first 5 minutes of the game. Not even, like the first 4 minutes of the game. We already lost a BB and a DD. That's not good. That is not very good at all. So we're gonna be on track to lose this game, because the first team to lose their DD is usually the first team that's gonna lose the game, right? That's usually how it goes. Now notice we are still getting, you know, fire damage in the top right on that California. Now, since we have our sonar up, we can spot that Fubuki and take him down. That's our first kill of the game, and so far, we're doing pretty good, all things considering. So, there you go. Now, if that was armor-piercing shells, we probably would have died there. That Kavor took a shot at us with a full salvo of high explosive, and if that was AP, that probably would have been the end of our game. I'm not even gonna lie. So, thank Jesus he had high explosive loaded, because that could have been really bad. Now, one thing I want to bring your attention to real quick is the turrets. These turrets rotate 360 degrees. So you can actually turn left and right, and you can the front turrets will actually turn all the way around. Same with the back turrets. They all rotate 360 degrees, I believe. So that is something really nice to look forward to, especially when you're kiting away. That is a really nice ability to have when those front guns rotating like that. I don't think the back guns can do it. Yeah, the back, maybe the very back gun can do it, I believe. The very freaking back gun can rotate 360, but the second gun there, the second gun from the very back gun, yeah, I don't think that one can rotate 100 or 360 degrees, unfortunately. So that is something to keep in mind. But if you're kiting away, you can basically get all the guns on either side of the ship pretty fast. So it's really nice. Really nice ability. Now, what isn't nice is our team. Our team's all dead. I told you guys to keep to pay attention to the top left. We went, you know, a minute or two ago, we were talking about how we lost a battleship and a destroyer. Well, 2 minutes later, we just lost our carrier. We lost 2 more battleships. I don't understand. I don't get it. I just don't get it. How come people just all die, man? I mean, it doesn't matter what tier you're at either. Tier 5, Tier 4, Tier 1, Tier 7, Legendary. This happens at every tier. There is an equal amount of potatoes no matter where you go. You gotta love that, right? You've got to love that. But nonetheless, I mean, we're still trying our best. I mean, we're kiting away. We're trying to frickin' put out as much HE as possible. And we're sending out torpedoes every so often. Unfortunately, though, as I said earlier in the review portion, we're not hitting any of them. Surprise! It's you know, it's just kind of a joke, man. But yeah, I mean, we have only 2 ships left, and you know, 3 in total, myself included. But we have 2 with us, and this is basically game over. This is basically game over. Like I said, I mean, yeah, when teammates are all going to throw, not a lot you can do about it, except just, you know, talk about it. So, but anyways, we're up to 45k, and I mean, as you guys can see, we have a few fires and whatnot, but nothing spectacular in terms of damage or anything. And that's just because this ship doesn't put out lots of damage. Now, if you can manage to get lucky and hit some torpedoes and whatnot, I mean, obviously you're going to do a lot more damage, but I don't seem to get very lucky when it comes to torpedoes. So, I don't do any damage because I don't hit any torpedoes. So, but I mean, the guns are fine. I mean, as you guys can see, we're getting fires, we're getting penetration, so that's something. Now the Nürnberg's going broadside at 7 kilometers, and unfortunately our guns are like, nope, fuck you, no kill for you, and yeah, down he goes. And nonetheless, though, despite us losing this game so hard, at least we got a kill there. I mean, that's something. I mean, I didn't get the kill, the other guy did, but still, you know, it's just not a complete steamroll, I guess. But I know it's over. I know it's basically game over. We only have 1 other ship alive, so I'm just going to YOLO. I'm going to YOLO this California. Now, California almost dev strikes me through the bow, and he leaves me on 700 HP. Which is more than enough HP to get my torpedoes off. And, well, I do just that. I YOLO down the California, and I get all of my torpedoes off, you know, and, well, yeah, down he goes. Down he goes. And And with that torpedo strike alone, I doubled my damage. So, yeah, anyway, I know I'm dead. I'm just gonna basically accept it, and down I go. But, hey, nonetheless, though, despite everything, we still did okay in terms of damage in the end, mainly because we YOLO'd in and torpedoed a battleship. And we got pretty lucky, not gonna lie. Obviously, we got left on just enough HP to get our torpedoes off, so it's nice to have a bit of luck, you know, for a change. But nonetheless, I'm gonna start fast forwarding here, and yeah, we're gonna bring you guys to the end of the game, I guess. So now that we're fast forwarding, you guys can see, I mean, even when this is fast forwarding, the Tennessee still looks pretty slow. That's pretty funny. But no, 111,000 damage to end off on. I mean, it's not horrible, but the things we had to do to get that 111,000 damage, pretty ridiculous. You guys can all admit. But hey, a high caliber and a devastating strike and a Gokase, I mean, I will take it. I did say that this is not going to be the greatest game in the world, and I'm 100% right. But anyway, 111,000 damage is what we ended on. Devastating strike, high caliber. We were top of the team with 1,400 base in a Gokase. You gotta love that. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for today's video. Happy Friday to everybody. And I know a lot of you guys are probably on spring break and stuff, so have a good one. And yeah, I'll catch you all on the next one. Peace out. Stay healthy, as always.